Hi there, crafty peeps. Enis here from Papercrafting with Enis, and I'm on today for week 3 of hashtag Puchy's Memy Mondays. And just as a reminder, Puchy's Memy Mondays is a YouTube hop hosted by Puchy Tats here on YouTube and Instagram, where she has asked a number of ladies, including myself, to create some MEMORYDEX projects and post them on social media every Monday during the month of August. So just as a quick reminder, this is my project for week 1, and this is a MEMORYDEX box created with the die set from Scrap Diva Designs, and it just opens up like that, and then I have some tags that I've decorated tucked inside. So that one is super fun. And then last week, which was week 2, I created this really pretty gift bag MEMORYDEX card created with a die set from the Happy Crafter Shop and decorated with some really pretty paper and bows, and we have little dangles hanging on both of these projects. So this is week 2 and this is week 1. I'm just going to put those aside. Before I get into this week's project, I am going to share a couple of the things that I use, but I did want to mention that all of the ladies who are participating in this YouTube hop are listed in the description box down below. If you click on their links, it'll take you to their YouTube channels, and also I'm going to try to include the links to their week 3 videos as well. So be sure to check those out. A number of the ladies, including Puchy Tats, are hosting giveaways, but you need to watch their videos to find out what the rules are and whether or not they are doing a giveaway. Now, I am hosting a giveaway, and it is open to international as well as US subscribers and frequent commenters, and that would be a $25 PayPal credit in US dollars, so that way I'm able to open this up to my international subscribers as well. And also, I'm going to announce in next week's video that I am adding in a couple physical prizes, and we'll talk about those next week. And now that will only be open to US mailing addresses because of the cost of shipping. So with all of that out of the way, I just wanted to show you the die sets that I used this time around. So I'm using this one here, which is, I believe it's KS Craft Kissing Booth. So I used this piece, the coin. I didn't use the banner or its layering pieces, and I also used this piece here. And this is also a KS Craft die set, and this is the Valentine banners, I think she's calling them, and I used this one here with the locket. And then for my base for my MEMORYDEX, I used this one, and I think this is a KS Craft die, but I'm not quite positive. And all I used from this was just this piece here, and really just the bottom part. And I put this together the same way I did in my week 2 project. So if you're interested in seeing how to do that, hop back over to week 2 and be sure to check that out. Also, I used some pink Velcro dots from the Happy Crafter Shop. And I am using a couple of pieces of paper from the Frank Garcia Strawberry Milkshake collection. Not a whole lot, but I did use some from here, so I wanted to share that. Also, I did want to mention that for my giveaway, if you're interested in getting in that, please go down into my description box, go all the way down to the bottom, and the instructions are going to be listed all out there. Okay, so here we are with my project for this week, and it is a very, very cute kissing booth here, and you can see that I'm using that milkshake collection there, and I'm just going to flip it to the back. This is from the milkshake collection, and I am using some Dollar Tree dimensional stickers down here for the florals and the greenery. This is actually a Dollar Tree sticker as well, and I just used some Wink of Stella on it. Here's where that locket set is, and I did have to disconnect this piece and this piece because my MEMORYDEX actually has a hidden box inside, so this will open. So here you can see I did that little coin there. I've got some more Dollar Tree stickers. This is some Dollar Tree chenille yarn, and I just made some little bows, glued it on top of the floofy that I made, and I created this kind of like the tutorial I did in my week 1 video. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check that out. And let me see, anything else here? Oh, I did a small dangle, just a small one. Let me see if I can get that here for you to see. It's got a little love letter there, and some of these beads are from the Happy Crafter. I think the small one, as well as, well, actually I think all of the beads are from the Happy Crafter shop. Yeah, I think they are. And then on the back I just have a little gemmy there and a Velcro dot holding the door closed, so you have a private place to put your information for the person you're gifting this to. So anyway, what I did with this actually is a one-dimensional project, but I created it by doing 2 of the front and back pieces, and then I created a little box to go inside, and we are going to do a quick tutorial on how to do that. So let me open up the lid here. I'm just going to push that up, and I'm going to have to turn this upside down for a moment, because I do have something tucked inside. It's a perfect fit, so it's not a whole lot of room. So I just took one of the little boxes that I believe I got this from Temu some time ago, added some of the paper collection on the top and bottom, and when you open this up, I actually have washi tape down this foam here, because each one of the little compartments has teeny tiny cabochons and goodies for the recipient, and I'm trying to keep them from falling out, so I have that little foam taped on there. So that is the little surprise inside, and it just tucks in like that, and the lid comes down closed like that. So that is my week 3 project. I think it's super, super cute. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create the box to fit this perfectly, okay? So let me put that aside, and I hope that you all will stick around for that. Let me get my paper towel, because you know I like to work on a paper towel when I'm gluing. Okay, now I've already cut all my pieces out, but I'm going to tell you how I figured out what I wanted. So I did use the die, and I cut out one piece of the front piece here, and then I took a ruler and I measured where I wanted the box to be. So I measured from side to side, not this little flap up here, but side to side, and it was 3 1/4 inches. So I took 3 1/4 inches, and I knew I wanted a 1-inch depth to my box, so I added an inch to that, so that's 3 1/4 plus 1 inch, that's 4 1/4, and then I want a 1/4 inch tab so I can glue. So the piece is going to measure 4 1/2 this way, so you got 3 1/4 plus another inch, that's 4 1/4, plus the 1/4, that's 4 1/4, and then up and down this measures 2 1/4. So I need 2 pieces of 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. So that is right here. Okay, now you'll see I've already scored them. So first I scored my 1/4 inch, and that's going to be my glue tab. Let me just fold that over and press it down, and then I have a 1-inch side, so I'm going to fold that over and press it down. And like I said, you need 2 of these, so let me just take care of that right quick. And these are going to fit together like this. Okay, so that forms the base of your box. Now for the bottom, and I forgot to score this, let me grab my mini scoreboard. I want a 1/4 inch tab going all the way around. So what I did was I took this measurement, which is the 3 1/4, and then I added the 1/4 inch on each side, so that makes it 3.75. Okay, and then my depth is going to be 1 inch, so I've got 1 inch, and then I need that 1/4 inch for my tab, so I need a 1 1/2. So it's going to be 1 1/2 by 3 1/4, so that's this piece here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to score a 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay, so let me just do that rather quickly here. And then, so that my corners will lay correctly, I'm going to cut off on an angle right where those 2 score lines meet. Okay, so I'm just going to clip it there, and I'm going to do that for all 4 corners. And then I will fold on the score lines and burnish them down. And like I said, this is forming the bottom of our box. Okay, so that's the bottom. And the last piece is the top. For this one, we have to measure inside of here. Okay, I'm going to measure this, and it's 2 5/8. So my piece needs to measure 2 5/8 this way. And then I want the top to be 1 inch, and I'm going to have a 1/2 inch hanging over on the front and a 1/4 inch hanging over the back. So that is 1.75, so 1 3/4. So that should be, yeah, that's what this is here. And so for the front, I want a 1/2 inch hanging over, so I scored there. And then I want a 1/4 inch glue tab, so there is the glue tab right there. Okay, I hope all that makes sense. If you are interested in doing this and you don't understand something, be sure to get in touch with me. I'll be happy to help you out with that. Okay, so now it's time to glue. So first I'm going to glue my sides together. So let me grab my glue up. And I want my glue tabs to be on the inside. So I'm going to line those up at the score line. Burnish that down, and give me just a moment because Kiki is in the room and he wants out and the door's closed. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay. So we have this. Now I'm going to wait to glue this one until after I attach my bottom. So here's my bottom piece, and I'm first going to attach it here. So I'm going to put my glue on the, now this time I'm putting it on the outside of the tab because it is going to go on the, oops, on the inside of my piece. So once again, I'm lining that up at the fold line. Okay, burnish that down, and okay, looks like I need to adjust it just a tiny bit, and that's why I use wet glue as opposed to tape. Okay, all right, so that's that piece. All right, now I'm going to glue my sides. So put some glue on this and hold that, line it up, and then hold on to it until that glue sets. And I'm just going to burnish that down a little. Okay. And then I'm going to do the other side tab. All right. Lining up with the score lines, holding down the tab so the glue sets. And I'm going to burnish that down. And by the way, I know there's lots of different ways to create little boxes. I'm just showing you the way I did mine to fit inside. And I could have actually just added side pieces to the two of these, but I thought for extra strength it would be better to actually create a box. Okay, so now we've got the bottom attached, 3 sides, and now we're going to add glue. Oops, you know what, I should have probably angled this off here too, so let me do that. Okay, it's just going to make that lay a lot better. So I'm going to add glue here, and I'm going to add glue here, and we're going to lay that on top and try to make sure everything is lined up appropriately. Giving that a press, and I'm going to use my bone folder and give that a good burnish. Okay, so there is the base of our box. Now the glue is still setting on that, but anyway, theoretically you would have 2 of these, and I would recommend cutting 2 of these out in a heavyweight cardstock and then cutting 2 out in your design paper. Layer the 2 on top of one another. Then you're going to glue the front piece on. Okay. And it looks like my measurements were slightly off, but that's okay. You get the idea, right? Okay, just press that down. Okay, so now I have my front piece on my box. The reason why we're going to put this piece on before we add our top is because we need this to line up in between these posts, okay? So I think, at least it worked out best for me to attach the front before I glued this on. So now that that's there, I'm going to come around to the back, add some glue to my tab, and I'm gluing this to the outside of the box. And it's okay to do that because you're going to be adding your layering piece on the back. Okay, so there you have it. Then you would attach your back piece, and that will cover this up, and it will decorate the back for you. And then I added a little Velcro dot here. You could use a magnet, or you don't have to put anything there at all, but I found it nice to put that in there. So that's my project for you today. Week 3 for hashtag PUCHY'S Here is my cute little kissing booth. And I hope you found some inspiration with this. I used a lot of dies with this one. Very pretty paper collection. I used some inexpensive Dollar Tree stickers. And the foam may have actually been from the Dollar Tree too. I'm not positive. I've had it in my stash for quite some time. So anyway, don't forget to hop on over and follow the YouTube hop list. It's down in the description box below. If you started with me, you're at the bottom of the list, so hop up to the top and start with Puchy and work your way down. If you're anywhere in the middle, just keep yourself a-moving till you hit everybody's YouTube channels and check out all the fun, inspiration, and beautiful projects. And if you decide to create a MEMORYDEX of your own, be sure to use the hashtag PUCHY'smemymondays so that we can follow along and check out your gorgeous creations. So that's what I have for you today. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, and I will see you next Monday for week 4 of hashtag PUCHY'smemymondays. See you later, crafty peeps. Bye.